The 5 articles that I chose to talk to you about today are 5 of my favorite articles out of all 10 that I did. The first one is about childhood obesity, and the author is Andrew Subika, and along with a lot of his friends. And it's named "The Communities of Color Creating Healthy Environments to Combat Childhood Obesity." This article is basically about creating a healthy environment to combat with childhood obesity and different ways to help with it. And in this article, they give many examples of individuals who have coped with childhood obesity. And also in this article, there is an organization that everybody is trying to start, and they are coming together as a community to work on this organization. The author wanted to be clear in this article that coming together to a community is something that is very good. Basically, childhood obesity is very important and it needs attention, but also coming together to help prevent something is very important too. So by coming together to be able to come up with different ideas to create a healthy community is very good. And they also share many good ideas that you can use to create a healthy environment for childhood obese kids, and it really helps. They started the organizations back in the 1900s, but here lately they've been starting to make more and come together as communities for different children. The author wrote this article in a way that was very easy to read, so I really enjoyed this article. I feel that childhood obesity is very important and it needs really to be brought to a lot of people's attention. This article is very enjoyable for me to read and it was very easy to understand. This article was for parents, teachers, caregivers, anyone that has children that needed to read this to get many different ideas about childhood obesity. In the conclusion of the article, it tells about the different examples of the outcomes of the organizations that they've created and how it's helped the children that is obese. My second article that I want to talk to you about is about the homeless and disabled, and Richard Garguro, he wrote this article, and it's called "The Homeless and Disabled: Rights, Responsibilities, and Recommendations for Serving Young Children with Special Needs." And this article is basically about, it's very important to give these children an education. All of these children need love and attention, and if you are a teacher that has a special needs or a homeless child in your class and you know of it, you need to go out of your way to make sure that they get the attention they need and they get the care that's provided and the education that they need. Just because they are homeless or disabled does not mean that they don't need a good education and doesn't need you to give them some extra attention. The author in this article insists that parents of these children understand how important it is for their children to have an education. So just because they're homeless or they're disabled doesn't mean that the parents do not need to send them to school. They need to send them to school because they have a right to be there, and an education is very important and can turn their life around very quickly. There's also many examples that he provides of early childhood education, caregivers that would love to work with their children every day. Teachers would love to work with them. It's not that they don't want to work with them. It's just the parents don't ever know if they should send them. But I like this article because it does seem like a lot of times that the parents don't feel like they should send them. And this article is very reassuring that they can. It was very easy to read and very well to understand. Any parent or caregiver with a child of disabilities needs to read this because it will help them a lot. In the conclusion, the author showed that there was an example pointed back to one of the tables. He included tables of statistics of how well, when children come, how much better they do in life than what they would if they didn't come to school. In my third article, I'm going to be talking about digital storytelling and storytelling from books. And I know it sounds kind of silly, but it actually is really important. And the author is Shofei Tang. And the name is "Digital Storytelling Approach in Multimedia Featuring the Writing Course." In this article, the author told many different reasons why storytelling is important for children and why it's important for caregivers or teachers or parents to tell stories. stories broaden kids' imaginations, and not just, stories from books, but digital stories that they can read, whether it's school, on an iPad, on a computer. They will be able to comprehend much more and expand their minds to broader than before. By reading, their minds will be able to just comprehend more too. Any kind of storytelling, whether it's from a book or from a computer or from an iPad, it will help children grow and think more out of the box than what it would if they didn't get to read it. There was some charts and models included in this article, and it showed different statistics of when children get to read stories and hear stories and learn about stories than children that don't do that much. And when they get older, most of the children that didn't get to listen to stories much, they didn't think as well as what the children that did get to listen to the stories much, because their horizon wasn't broader when they were younger. This article was very well written and very easy to understand, but I liked it because as a child, I loved getting stories read to me and told to me, and I feel like that it helped a lot. But he also divided the article up in different sections, so it was very easy for you to be able to, read it and really fully understand it. The author also did a very nice job at putting all the information in there, because he gave numerous examples of different cases of kids where they had done storytelling and didn't have storytelling. My fourth article is about obesity again, because I feel like this is a very important subject. It's a different article and a different topic, but it's about obesity. This one's called the Voices for Healthy Kids campaign and U.S. state legislation to prevent childhood obesity. And the author is Sam Blake, and he has a lot of his friends that's writing it with it. But this article is different methods to prevent childhood obesity, like what you can do beforehand. The author tells about a campaign used in the article called Voices for Healthy Kids. The campaign basically helped mobilize evidence about childhood obesity and named many, many different techniques that you can use on your child when they're at a very young age to prevent childhood obesity. There are many things that parents and teachers and caregivers can do to prevent childhood obesity, or they could do to prevent it from happening, from getting worse. You can limit their exercise, and you can limit the TV that they watch, because while they're watching TV, they need to be outside, working, not necessarily working out, but just playing with other kids. Limit the food that they get. I like this article because, as I said earlier, obesity is a very important thing to me. And I liked how he named so many different techniques about these children, and how the parents need to step in and make them not, eat as much. However, the author could have added some more charts, because there was no charts barely in here, and I like to see statistics with all of my articles, because I feel like when you see statistics, then you see it's real, and I just really like that. My last article that I'm going to tell you about is about incorporating technologies. The author of this article is Amanda Queensberry, and it's called Turning in Strategies for Incorporating Technologies into Social Skills into Preschool and Kindergarten. This article is about the different strategies of incorporating technologies into social skills instruction for pre-K and kindergarten. There are many different examples that the author gives for these instructions of these children, and different examples of how to incorporate technology into preschoolers and kindergartens. That seems like a young age, but it's actually very important to start incorporating it in a young age. There are many different developing skills that children can learn through using technology at school, and their brain will start comprehending more information better, and the children will start learning about technology very quickly. I feel if you learn technology at a young age, then it will help you in the long run. The author was very clear in this article about how he felt about that. And there were quite a few pictures that I liked and tables that showed many statistics about these children and how important it is to incorporate that in these articles.